You fall in love. Your brain lights up. Not metaphorically, literally. Scientists scanned lovers' brains. What they found looked like addiction. Rutgers researcher Helen Fisher led the work. She scanned people who'd just fallen in love. One region kept firing nonstop. The ventral tegmental area. It floods the brain with dopamine. Dopamine drives motivation and reward. Cocaine hits the exact same spot. Fisher called romantic love a drive, not emotion. A drive you can't easily switch off. That's why new couples can't stop texting. Can't stop checking the clock. Can't stop replaying one conversation. Fair question. Isn't that just excitement? Here's where it gets stranger. Italian researchers tested another chemical. Donatella Mariziti, University of Pisa, 1999. She measured serotonin transporters in new lovers, then compared them to a control group, then to patients diagnosed with OCD. The lovers' serotonin levels matched the OCD group. Both groups had it 40% lower than normal. Low serotonin is linked to intrusive thoughts, obsessive checking, obsessive replaying, obsessive planning. Mariziti's paper had a blunt title: Alteration of the Platelet Serotonin Transporter in Romantic Love. Translation: falling in love resembles a clinical obsession. The infatuation stage even follows addiction's pattern. Craving, tolerance, withdrawal, relapse. Break up with someone and the brain reacts like quitting a drug. Restlessness, loss of appetite, trouble sleeping. Fisher scanned the brains of rejected lovers too. Same reward circuit. Still active. Still craving. Now add another hormone to the mix. Cortisol, the stress hormone. A 2006 study measured it in new couples. Couples together less than 6 months. Their cortisol was significantly higher than singles. Higher stress hormones. From falling in love. The body treats new romance like a threat response. Racing heart. Sweaty palms. Knotted stomach. Doctors used to call this something specific. Lovesickness. Not a joke. A real diagnosis. Ancient Greek physicians described it first. Hippocrates linked lovesickness to melancholy. Centuries later, medieval doctors formalized it. They called it amorhurios, a recognized medical condition. In medical textbooks, the Persian physician Avicenna went further. He claimed he could diagnose it by pulse. He'd recite names while feeling the patient's wrist. When the pulse spiked at one name, he had his answer. An 11th century doctor tracking dopamine by hand. Centuries apart. Same discovery. Now here's the twist most people miss. Heartbreak doesn't just feel like pain. It uses the same circuitry as physical pain. Researchers Ethan Cross and Naomi Eisenberger tested this. University of Michigan and UCLA, 2011. They recruited people recently dumped, then scanned their brains 2 ways. First, showing them a photo of their ex. Second, applying physical heat to their arm. Both triggered the same brain region. The secondary somatosensory cortex. The dorsal insula. Regions built to process physical injury. Rejection and burns lit up the same map. That's why people say it physically hurts. It isn't a figure of speech. It's measurable tissue-level overlap. So love checks nearly every box. Craving circuits. Obsessive thought patterns. Stress hormone spikes. Withdrawal symptoms. Pain pathways during loss. The same boxes doctors check for illness. So does that mean love is a disorder? Fisher argued the opposite. She called it an evolved survival mechanism. A drive strong enough to keep 2 people together. Long enough to raise a vulnerable infant. Human infants need years of care. Evolution needed a chemical leash strong enough for that. So it borrowed circuitry already built for survival. The same systems that drive hunger. The same systems that drive fear. Love just repurposed the wiring. That explains why it feels involuntary. You don't decide to obsess over someone. The chemistry decides for you. And it doesn't last forever. Studies tracking couples found the intense phase fades. Usually within 12 to 18 months. Dopamine and norepinephrine levels settle. The obsessive stage cools into something steadier. Researchers call that shift the move from passion to attachment. Different chemicals take over. Oxytocin and vasopressin. Bonding hormones. Calmer. Less obsessive. longer lasting. So the illness doesn't stay an illness. It transitions into something closer to maintenance. Which raises one more question. If falling in love mimics a clinical disorder, why does almost every culture chase it anyway? Maybe because the reward outweighs the symptoms. Maybe because connection kept our species alive. Or maybe some illnesses are worth catching. Marazidi's own follow-up study found something telling. She retested couples after 2 years together. Their serotonin levels had returned to normal. The obsession had literally worn off. What replaced it lasted much longer. So maybe love isn't an illness at all. Maybe it's a temporary condition, one your brain is built to survive, and usually come out stronger. So next time someone says they're sick with love, they might be more right than they know. Subscribe.